pleasure to meet all at last, and welcome back to the Vlog-A-Thon 4.0. So, right here, in this little part of the Vlog-A-Thon 4.0, I probably should start talking a little bit about the kind of stuff that I tend to do with my vlogs, because you probably aren't that much familiar with it, but at this point, I probably should give out a little clarification for those who might be confused at this point. There's been so many different spots that I've potentially put up different vlogs about me. But I can certainly tell you from my own perspective that vlogs are something that I probably won't be doing very often from this point on, mainly because of the weather, mainly because of the fact that, well, we're going to have to isolate ourselves from the outside world because of the stuff that's been happening now. And I guess another big important thing to keep in check at this point is the fact that, well, content is going to be sprawling around like crazy. I mean, this entire month of December has already been pretty big for what it was. There's been a lot of HJN related topics that I was able to get out of the way, with a lot more coming soon. As a matter of fact, I probably should go and make some more HJN episodes, because I should definitely take charge on that, if and when it's possible. Let's not forget that Face Cam Specials and Surgeons, which of course is another one of the sub-series of GWK that I have going on. Face Cam Specials and Surgeons Part 4 is pretty much going at this point, and I could say that it's going strong right now. Of course, GWK as a whole is certainly going to be very, very, very big. Much bigger than I normally would have anticipated. And it's mainly because of the different titles and the like that I was able to get my hands on and give out a good review, a good playthrough, and then have them shipped back because of that process that I have talked about a few times, where I go buy a game, play through it as much as I possibly can until I meet the minimum criteria that I've set up, and then have them sent back, and then get the refund money, so this way I can use it to possibly save up for some things that I might want to buy in the future. So, if that ain't a really, smart idea, then well, I suppose I don't really know what is a smart idea, especially at times like this. But regardless of what is going on at this point, regardless of anything that's going to be taking place from this day forward, I will say that in terms of vlogs, there might be the possibility of new locations. Because after all, I've talked a lot about this earlier, but Survival of No Limits is going to be a new series that I'll have coming on pretty soon, in over a month from now. But until that does happen, let me just say that there are a few things on Survival of No Limits that I probably should have mentioned earlier. There are basically a few rules that I have put together myself. The first thing, of course, is to talk about stuff that has to do with different types of survival abilities and capabilities. And the second thing that I should do in every episode of Survival of No Limits is to have a certain location, and then every few episodes or so I can relocate to somewhere else. Like, say if I were in this exact room right now, this patio, I could be here for a few episodes, like maybe 5 of them, for example, but then I'd probably have to move out and then find another place to go to, and then make another few episodes of Survival of No Limits right there. And that's pretty much going to be part of the process. But the third and final thing that I probably should mention is that, well, I'd probably have to talk about Survival of No Limits in a very honest way. And it's kind of hard to figure out exactly what you got to do based on how you need to get by in most ways. So of course, this is exactly why I'm going to be taking some time from now on to at least ensure that I'm going to be having some legitimate information to talk to people about the different types of things that relate to survival, or the things that are basically necessities at this point. So of course, those are just a few tips on what Survival of No Limits is truly going to be like when it first comes out. January 31st, 2021 is just going to be that. It's going to be the beginning of something new on the channel, and I can tell you from my own perspective that maybe it might do well, it may not do that well. The only way to know for sure is to show it to the whole world. But in conclusion, I will say that in terms of, well, just my regular content, there may be the possibility that stuff will be coming back or may not be. But the only way to know for sure, again, for me, in all seriousness, is that I just want to see how I can plan everything out. There may be the possibility of some things changing, like I've said before. If GWK cannot really continue the way I originally planned it to because of what's happened to the PlayStation 4, then well, of course, some things might have to be changed, but again, there's a good possibility that with the new one that I got recently, things shouldn't be altered in any way because of how well it's working at this point. So maybe the other one was faulty. I don't really know. But anyways, if you want to see more go down on my channel, make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.